So now we come to the third model. So the political economy model. The political economy model is a little different from the first two models because it doesn't ask the question, who controls? So in the democratic pluralist model, when we ask the question, who controls, the answer is the people. In the elite model, when we ask who controls, the answer is it's the elites. But in the political economy model, the question is not who controls, but the question is what are the linkages between the economy and the politics and how that interaction leads to policy making. So the underlying economic system or the political economic system will shape the policies no matter who controls, actually who is the prime minister or who is the president or who sits in the legislature. It's the political economy, it's the interaction between the politics and the economics that will result in policies. So a capitalist economy, a communist economy, a feudal economy will lead to different policies, no matter who is actually sitting there, who the individual is. It's the economy, type of economy, which will decide about the policies. So a capitalist economy, communist economy, and a feudal economy will have different results. So let's take the example of the education policy. So if there is a feudal economy, what type of education policy will it have? It will have mostly no education policy, because in a feudal economy, the children are usually start working on the farm when they are 8 to 10 years old, and they learn the things they need to learn to work in the feudal economy while at the farm or at the home. So girls stay at home, boys go to the farm, learn their thing. So there is no need of a education policy in a feudal economy. In the capitalist economy, what type of education policy will it be? So in a capitalist economy, the focus will be on markets. So it's not to enlighten people, to give them new ideas. It will be how to make good workers who can serve the interest of the capitalist economy. And of course, the cost will be kept low so that the benefit of the education goes to the business interests. In the communist economy, education policy will be focused on making good socialist workers. So it will be totally under state control, and people will be given lectures on Marxist Leninist ideology, and they will be told that capitalists are bad, you live in a heaven and all that. So these are the things which a Marxist or communist education system will. So the focus will be on ideology rather than on markets. Let's take another example of housing policy. So how housing policy will be different in a feudal economy, in a capitalist economy, or in a communist economy. So in a feudal economy, of course, there will be no need of a housing policy, because in a feudal setup, the land is there and people can, and it belongs to the feudal lord. He can give the land to anyone who works for him, and people work for these feudal lords and they get the housing, and the housing is very primitive and very small, but it's there, and there is no need of housing policy. Governments don't need to intervene in the housing sector. In the capitalist economy, again, not much thinking of housing economy, because housing is not something which has to be provided by the government. So in the capitalist economy, it will be left to the market. So anybody who has money can buy the house, and anybody who doesn't have money will not. So government will not help people to own houses. In a communist economy, housing will be provided to the people, but the focus will be to provide housing to all. The focus will be on quantity and not on quality, and it will be a drab run of apartments around the cities, as one can see in the old Soviet Union or Russia or communist countries. So the focus will be providing housing but lacking quality. Most economies today are mixed economies. So they have some characteristics of capitalist economy and some characteristics of socialist or communist economies. We have education, which is free up to K to 12, up to 12th grade, and then you have to pay for it. Similarly, some low-cost housing is provided, but most of the people have to look at the market to buy a house. Thank you.